Good morning, everybody. My name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of Christchurch-Shelburne that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Do you ever get scared of being left behind? When I was a kid, I sort of grew up around my aunts, who were all, they were a little bit older than me, but they were the closest thing I had to peers. I would chase them around. If they went fishing or hunting or into the woods, I'd chase them around. I'd want to go where they were going. I'd want to be around them always. And my grandparents and my parents would kind of, make them take me. Now, I don't know if anybody out there has younger siblings or people that were in my position that were always tagging along, but one of my fears was I wanted so much to be around them. I wanted to be included. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be left behind. I wanted to be with them. I wanted to be with them because I admired them. I admired their ability to do the things that I couldn't do. I actually feel like that sometimes today in my life. I mean, the world is changing so desperately fast that I'm really terrified that I'm going to be left behind, that I'm going to become a relic, that I'm not going to be a part of the world growing and changing and becoming better. That ultimately I will hit a limit as to how much I can change, and therefore I'll find my limit as to how useful I can be to the world around me. What I mean by that, it's not about technology. Technology is a wonderful example because since I was born, we see a great deal of shift in technology. Okay, a huge exponential growth in the use of technology and how it looks and how small it is and how wonderful it is and how powerful it is and all the other stuff about technology. But it's how we are changing as a society and as a culture. I mean, our norms are so different today than what they were when I was a kid. Our expectations of one another are so different today than what they were when I was a kid. And for the most part, it is better. It's just so quick. It's happened so fast. And I'm curious sometimes how many other people feel the way I do. Right? How many other people of other political, of other ideological bents feel the same way that I do? How many of them are afraid of not being able to keep up with the shifting cultural and societal demands? How many of them are afraid that they're going to be left behind, that they're going to be seen as relics, that they're going to be seen as dinosaurs, fossils, that their ideas and their values are going to be passé, something from yesteryear? How many of them are afraid that they're going to be ostracized, that they're not going to be included? People want to be included. That's one of the things we fight for, right? As a Christian, as a self-professed progressive, we fight for inclusion, we fight for equality, we fight for community. And as we do this, and as we bring forward change, there are entire groups out there of good people who may not feel as though they can keep up. And because they feel like they can't keep up, because they're afraid they can't keep up, they demand everything stops. And the minute they demand everything stops, we chafe at that. I chafe at that. I don't want to stop. I want to keep moving. Don't make me stop. But they demand we stop. And what this ultimately tells us isn't a matter that those folks are backward, or those folks are fossils, or those folks don't know what they're talking about, or how they don't know that those folks don't want to create a better world. What we encounter is that 4-letter F word, fear. Our enemy isn't those people. The things that we need to fight is not those people. Right? The thing that we need to go against, the thing that is challenging us as we try to move forward in this world is not those people. It's the fear that those people carry. It's the teachings that those people carry. It's the customs and the cultures and the values that have been shared with those folks. Going forward together may require us to address those fears, those customs, those cultures, and to do so patiently. Because I do suspect that there are many people out there that want a better world. They want to see people thrive. They want to see people living in abundance. They want to see their communities great. But the only way they know how is the older ways. The only way they know how to go forward is based on what had been shared with them years ago. And they're just not certain that they're up to task. I'm not certain I'm up to task. Being, I think somebody called me a YouTube, I think the word was megastar. It has taught me a lot. Like, I've said this 1,000 times, and that's not been 1,000 times, but I've said this dozens and dozens of times, how grateful I am for all that you teach me. One of the things you teach me is that while I may be a very aware person here in my town, in my denomination, there are many things that I'm not aware of. I still use language that make people chafe, that bothers some people. I still have mannerisms that bother some people. I say things in the wrong way, in the wrong context. And by that I mean because it's an irritant to people. Not just, my speaking patterns being an irritant. If he says so one more time, I'm going to punch him in the head. But the actual words that I use sometimes are problematic to people. They trigger people. They bring something up, a memory. They bring a cultural value that has impeded their ability to grow. There are sometimes I don't use the words that I should to be more inclusive, to include everybody that I want to include. I pray you won't leave me behind. I pray you will continue to allow me to learn from you, to become more aware. I pray that you'll give me the time to do that, that you won't give up on me. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you. And I pray that you will always know the peace of being in God's presence. And I pray that as you show me patience, together we will show others patience, so that everybody can rise together, that we can all be on mission to make this world a better place. Amen.